I made one small change. I added the word Hayden in sentence 3 where it hadn't been. I wanted her to hear his name in the same sentence as the word learned. I wanted her to know I had been adding up since I was 10 years old. The 5th week, I sent a text to my mother. Bridgepoint Coffee Sunday at 2:20. No Hayden. She wrote back within 40 seconds. I'll be there, thank you. That thank you was the first thing that she had said to me in 5 weeks that didn't sound like fear. If you've ever built a folder for yourself, just to prove that you wasn't crazy, drop a comment with just the word folder. I'll see it. Let's keep going. Sunday, April 26, 2026 at 2 p.m. Bridgepoint Coffee in Brentwood. A booth in the back corner I'd specifically asked for when I called the manager on Saturday. Public enough that she couldn't make a scene, private enough that no one would lean in. She arrived 15 minutes early. She was wearing her church clothes. Her makeup was careful. She had a small leather purse in her lap. I sat down across from her at exactly 2 o'clock. I had a notebook in front of me closed. I had a small folder next to it closed. She opened her mouth. I held up one finger. I'm not here to argue, I said. I'm here to inform. I have 11 things to say. Then I'm going to leave. You can speak when I'm done. She closed her mouth. I opened the notebook. I read 1. I know you've been calling. I'm not going to apologize for not picking up. 2. The event of March 14 was my wedding. I married Dr. Owen Cladwell. You met him in 2023. You posted about him on Facebook. You don't remember. 3. The reason I didn't tell you it was a wedding is that I learned a long time ago that anything I tell you becomes something you use. I learned that from Caleb. I learned it from the scholarship in 2010. I learned it from every Saturday of my childhood where Hayden's name was the only name in the room. 4. There is a supplemental health insurance policy in my name, CrossPoint Health Supplemental, open February 14, 2022. I never signed for it. I have a credit card report confirming when it was open. 5. There is an explanation of benefits from CrossPoint for 12 PT sessions at Whitman PT Clinic in Knoxville between October and December of 2023. Hayden never went to that clinic. Owen's discharge instructions from 2023 never authorized that clinic. The claim was for $7,800. I have both documents. 6. There is also a small store credit card at a furniture store in Brentwood, open in November 2023, my name. I had that on a credit card report as well. Dad has kept a folder of your activities since 2018. That folder is what made him leave. 7. As of May 1st, 10 days from now, I am no longer paying the private loan I co-signed for Hayden. I have paid £890 a month for 36 months. That's $30,260. I want that money returned. I'll accept a payment plan. 8. If you do not return that money and if you do not close the CrossPoint policy and the furniture card under my name within 30 days, I will refer the matter to the Tennessee Department of Commercial and Insurance. They handle supplemental fraud. I won't be the one pressing charges. They will. 9. I am not reporting you today. I am not pressing charges today. That's a point I am making. It is not absolute. 10. You have my silence about CrossPoint conditional on the terms I just said. You cannot have my time. 11. For 16 years, you call my milestones little events. Saturday was not little, and neither was I. I closed the notebook. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she did. Honey, she said, and her voice cracked. I didn't know it was your wedding. If I had known, that's not what you owe me an apology for, I said. And I think you know that. The silence that came after was the first silence in my entire life that I did not lean forward to fill. I let it sit. She put her hand on the table. She tried to reach towards mine. I moved my hand into my lap. You're my daughter, she said. Brooke, I'm your mother. We can't. Please, don't say we. She stopped. I don't want you to make this harder, she said. I'm not making it harder. I'm making it clearer. There's a difference. You taught me the difference. It just took me 30 years to learn it. She wiped her eyes with the side of her thumb. She had not cried out loud. She had only let her eyes get full. She was very practiced at. What about Hayden, she said. He doesn't have anyone else. You know that if you do this, Hayden is 22. Hayden is an adult. Hayden also signed paperwork at a clinic he had never went to. I'm not responsible for him anymore. I haven't been since he was 19. I just hadn't told myself that out loud. I opened the folder. I slid 3 papers across the table to her. The first was a written note that automatic payments on the private loan would terminate on May 1st, 2026. The second was a calculation of what she owed me, $30,260, and the proposed repayment terms. The third was a single sheet titled Future Contract Terms. It read, no dropping visits, no phone calls outside of agreed upon window, no discussions of money, No discussions of Hayden. 1 holiday per year in a public revenue. 2 hours maximum. All future communications in writing. She read it. She didn't speak. I stood up. My coffee was still full on the table. I left it. I walked to the door. I turned around once. You can have my silence, I said. You can't have my time. I walked out. Owen was waiting in the parking lot in his car. I got in. I closed the door. I exhaled. He didn't ask. I said, done. He drove us home. 6 weeks later, I want to tell you what happened. Not what I imagined would happen, what actually happened. On May 1st, the automatic payments to the private loan stopped. I'd given the bank 90-day notice. There was no drama. The line item just disappeared from my checking account. On May 6th, my mother sent me a single text. I sold Hayden's card, 14,200. I can wire it Friday. I wrote back, Friday's fine. Use Zelle, including the words loan repayment in the memo. She did. She signed a simple note Holly Brigg drafted from the remaining 16,612 monthly payments starting June 1st. No interest. I didn't ask for interest. I was in a bank. On May 12th, I received written confirmation from Crosspoint Health Supplemental that the policy in my name had been closed and that any further activity on that policy would trigger an internal fraud review. I filed the confirmation in a fireproof box at home next to the marriage certificate. The furniture card was closed on the same day with a final payment that came from an account I did not recognise and did not ask about. I did not refer the matter to the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance. I had the option. I chose not to use it. That was my choice. A choice. On May 18th, Hayden sent me a long text. It said, Sis, I'm sorry, Mom is crazy. You know how she is. I never meant for any of this and I love you. I read it. I didn't answer. I didn't block him. I left him in my contacts under the name Hayden with no special letters or warnings. I just stopped responding. There is a difference between cutting someone out of your life and refusing to keep arguing them. I learned that difference. I am still learning it. My father started coming to Nashville on Sundays. It started without anyone planning it. The first Sunday in May, he texted that he had a job in Brentwood on Monday and asked if he could come a day early. I said yes. He stayed for dinner. Owen grilled chicken on the back porch. The next Sunday, my father came again. No excuses this time. He bought a bouquet of magnolia from his yard. He set them on the kitchen counter. He said, This is the first family dinner I've had in 8 years when no one was performing. He'd come every Sunday since. I kept one of the magnolia's blossoms dried on my desk in my office. I kept it next to a small wooden frame. Inside the frame is the index card. Dr. Owen Cladwell Surgery, September 28th, 2023. PT begins 2 weeks post-op. 12 sessions maximum. Non-negotiable for full recovery. Owen laminated it for me one night in early May. He said it was the first piece of paperwork that had ever told him who I was. I walk past it every morning. I didn't stop to look at it. I just know it's there. Here's what I want to tell you. If you're still listening, I did not get a family back. I know what some of you are hoping for. You're hoping she called me at the end of the month and said the words I've been waiting to hear since I was 14. She didn't. She won't. She is not built for the apology she actually owes. I am no longer interested in coaching her towards one. What I got was my Saturdays. I got the morning, I made coffee and watched the sky get light through the window of my own home and no one needs me before I had my first sip. I got a Sunday dinner with my father on my back porch where he doesn't have to perform and I don't have to translate. I got a husband who kept an index card in a frame because it told him 3 years before he knew my name that I was the kind of woman who shows up. I got a phone that I leave face up on the counter now because I'm not afraid of who might be calling. I got the right to use the word little however I want. That turned out to be enough. If you've ever chosen yourself and felt guilty for it, there's nothing to feel guilty about. You didn't leave them. You just stopped paying for a seat they refused to fill. Share this with someone you need to hear. I'll be back next week with another story. Until then, be quiet, be careful.